Welcome, I'm Kenneth Andre, Tenjitsu Master and Mystic Messenger. Everything that I share and say and do is for a reason. So in this video, I'm going to give some images in connection with the season that we are in, May, with a potential mystical event that will unfold. I believe it's unfolding right now. If you've been following me, I feel that Spirit is pointing to May. I've been doing a lot of research and I come across something fascinating I'm going to share with you in this video. So Simpsons through predictive programming actually points to May, all right, of a particular event. Whether we see something on the world stage or in the invisible, I know right now something is unfolding and Spirit is pointing to this month, which I've talked about in my previous videos. So I found that interesting that through Simpsons, predictive programming through Simpsons, they mention May, a particular event. Now, I'm not talking about a rapture like I'm just talking about something mystical is going to unfold, all right? Then I was watching this channel who reports on anomalies with the weather going on in America. And I noticed these spirals. I've showed spiral symbolism in my videos in connection with Dark City, Dorothy in Oz going around the yellow brick road, the golden ratio. It's in connection with portals, doors, a shift, all right? And in the ancient monolithic buildings, on artifacts, cave writings with the symbols and messages, you will see spirals drawn on the wall. So I found that fascinating. So that's the presentation we are receiving at the moment. Remember, I look at the world as a stage, and what I see, I try to look at the symbolism behind it. I've been studying a lot. I've got a lot I want to get out, and I'm trying to keep this short and basic. So I have this dolphin in my unit. In Spirit, I was walking past it, and Spirit like moved my attention to the dolphin. It was like, look at that. So I pulled it out. I was like, okay, dolphin, yeah. There's a mention of dolphins in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And I thought about that, carried on my research, and I come across this wonderful brother who does simology, breaks down movies and TV series, etc. And he was talking about this dolphin and the time that keeps coming up, May 3 o'clock, and he was talking about it. And he also mentioned in the latest movie Left Behind, in the cockpit, it also had the same time, 5:15, May, all right, 3 o'clock. So I thought, okay, that's interesting. So I'm just sharing that with you. Stick with it. Again, just to show in Simpsons, right in the 5th, right? And I said something, there's something about the 17th. Depending where you are in the world, it could be 18th, right? 3 o'clock, 3:15, May, right? So I'm carrying on my research. I go back to have a look at iPet Goat 2 and I see the owl. And I talked about the owl in my previous video in connection with May. All right. If you've been following me, you should start putting the pieces together yourself. So we have this Christ figure on a boat of Anubis. We see Anubis on symbolism on the boat. This is where the Christ figure is floating along and all the fishes come out onto the boat. He's a fisher of men. But I was interested in Anubis. So I go do some research. And Anubis, I come across this paragraph about Anubis had a ritual. And this is tied to the philology of the ancient gods and Anubis. And he had a ritual. And he had this ritual, and it was called the opening of the month. All right. And funny enough, I come across this deity, Janus. Janus is a deity, and I think Jacob of Israel has actually mentioned this. This comes a lot in predictive programming, where characters in movies keep mentioning the name Janus. And there is a whole mythology behind this as well, with wars, sacrifice, etc. And that's also tied with the opening of the month, which is tied to Anubis, which is tied to May, as I'm going to show you now. We've been following the wrong calendars. The Bible tells us a lot about Egypt. We escape Egypt. This world is Egypt. And I've talked about this in my previous videos and showed you the obelisks and the Egyptian statues all over the world. And I made these connections with bridges, etc. So I'm carrying on doing my research. And I mentioned about the Egyptian zodiac calendar with Pleiades in the middle. And I was looking at their seasons in connection with Anubis and the ritual, the opening of the month. And I come across their seasons. They had 3 seasons. We have 4. They got 3. And I mentioned in my previous video that we are in a time of harvest. And I said, don't worry if that sounds strange, goes over your head, stay with it. Look at this. This is Egyptian, in the ancient times, their seasons. They have 3. And the third one is the harvest, and it's in May. And that's because they're not talking in the cycles of the world. They're talking about spirit. The hieroglyphs is all about the journey of the spirit. That should become apparent the more you look into it, especially if you've been following me. That makes sense. So their third season is the harvest, known as the harvest, and it's from March to May. May. Opening of the month in connection with Anubis, the doors opening, the portals, etc. Okay. I come across this hieroglyph, and it's the harvest, and we have the owl, M. May. If this is confusing, you must go over my previous videos, because you'll put the jigsaw puzzle pieces together and things will shout out at you. I've shared this before as well, I think, this hieroglyph, with the luminaries, the stars, in Taurus. It's like a celestial event we're supposed to pay attention to. Wayne Herschel did this image. Now remember Sagittarius with the bow on to Scorpion, and another hieroglyph I showed where they were using the spear to activate the serpent. Now here it is with the bull. All right, make the connections, put precept upon precept. Wayne Herschel also mentioned this could possibly be DNA, and we also see luminaries and suns moving into this constellation, like something is about to open. A shift, the doors opening in heaven. All right. If you've been following me and putting the symbols upon symbols, precept upon precept, I'm sure things will shout out at you. Now you can see, hopefully, it's pointing to May. By the end of May, the luminaries are in Taurus, 6 of them. We have Uranus, which is connected to heaven. We got Venus conjunct with the sun, between the bull's horns. All right, and then we've got the other luminaries next to Pleiades, Mercury and Jupiter, and the moon. All right, what we see here in this image is in the Egyptian hieroglyphs. If you pay attention and you, like myself, really look into the allegories, the symbology, you will start seeing these connections, and it's pointing to May. And there's many other, should we say, connections in movies and signs out there that's pointing to May. I'm just giving you a basic insight. I found this really interesting putting this together this morning, and I was like, it really is pointing to May. All right, regardless of what we see go on in the world stage, I know in the invisible something is unfolding. I can feel it in me now. Right, and I said, especially today on the 4th, Jupiter's coming out of its retrograde and it starts shooting off into Taurus. I said that the luminaries feel lighter, like a weight's been lifted off them. They're moving up into the bull. The bull is also referenced to by Enoch, where he says he is the white bull, the bull restored. With the amount of luminaries in Taurus, it lights up the bull, the white bull. Restoration. Very powerful. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there, keep this very basic. Hopefully you can see what I'm getting at. I'm trying to keep it very, very basic and clear. It's pointing to the season. All right, a harvest, a opening in heaven, a portal. All right, in May. As I mentioned, keep watch. I'm feeling strange because there's new energy coming in and things could get more mystical and strange. Nonetheless, we're looking forward to our blessed hope going into that wonderful future that prospers us, as I mentioned in my previous videos. Okay, I'm Kenneth Andre, Tenjutsu Master and Mystic Ninja. Love you guys. Have a good day.